Hi, how's it going? I'm Malachi, CEO and engineer of Elite Automation. Today, I'm going to go ahead and show you guys how to create some points within a program and show you how to navigate with the robot and also navigate with the robot inside of RoboGuide. Now, I know a lot of people won't have access to RoboGuide. Some pretty cool tools inside the RoboGuide software for you to be able to manipulate the robot to do things that you want to do. So boom, we're going to go ahead and jump into the software. Now, you can use your traditional teach pendant, which most people have. Now you can use your traditional teach pendant, which is what most people will have. So I'm gonna go ahead and just open up the teach pendant. I'm gonna go to select where we've created a program. We've created this main program here that you may have seen in a previous video. We're gonna kind of elaborate into this a little bit more, but we're gonna go ahead and just add some points to this pick program, and then we'll do some more of the programming in a later video as well. So we went ahead and chose the pick program. Notice how you have instruction right here and edit command right here. We're gonna hit the next button to give us point and touch up. So we're gonna go ahead and teach this point here. And then it's gonna give you the option. Do you want joint, linear, and linear? Then do you want a fine move? Do you want a continuous move, a fine move, or a continuous move? So for this particular point, we'll call it a fine because this is our at position. So I'm gonna go ahead and create this point right here. I'm gonna go to the next screen, edit command 1 to insert 1. We'll insert like 3 lines of code. Boom. And then now we're gonna go ahead and just jog the robot back. So we're gonna go shift, and let's see where our robot's oriented at. So the robot's base is X direction. So if you know your right hand rule, then you should be able to point with the robot, but you can also see it here in RoboGuide, the X direction. So in our teach pendant, we can jog in the X positive direction. That's not the X positive direction. You gotta make sure that whenever you move, that you're in the right coordinate frame. So be careful, especially in the real world, because that's how you crash a robot if you don't do that. So I'm gonna go back to this position. I'm gonna do a shift forward, and the robot's gonna move back to that position. That's an easy way to kind of recover if you accidentally move the robot in the wrong coordinate system. Now shift coordinate. Now here you can see the coordinate system. So we're using tool 3 right now. Jog 1 you don't really have to worry about. That's if you set up jog frames. Then we're going to, the user frame is fine. We just need coordinate here. So coordinate, world frame. You can also be in a user frame as well. So, you know, we could go user frame, but we don't have any user frames taught. So since there's not a user frame taught, it will be the same as the world frame, which will just follow the right hand rule. So now that we're in the world frame, we're gonna go positive X, move back here, go ahead and create a point. We'll make this one a continuous point, enter, go down here, make another point here, enter. Now this is just to kind of show you guys a very generic version of a program as well. We'll get deeper into like more proper programming methods because this is not how I would actually program this robot. Just for the sake of, it's not the most professional way to go about doing this programming. This would be like very generic, like you're just trying to write a program, get it done, and get out. So like somebody who doesn't have much experience and just wants to create some code to be able to perform some operation, and then the operation is never going to change again, you could get away with writing some code like this. Now, I showed you a couple ways to just move the robot. I'll go ahead and use the X coordinate so you can kind of see the robot's path. So we're going X negative. So now it's moving in that direction. So if your robot tool is sitting like this, this is your Y negative right here. And I'm gonna go ahead and stop it right there. I'm gonna go ahead and record a point here, and also record a point above. Now this position right here might be taught in this this type of method. It's kind of hard for me to explain this without explaining this, but you'll just have to subscribe and see the future videos. Another way, so in RoboGuide, you can grab and manipulate this robot is by grabbing its coordinate system here. So if it's not got the triad there, that's the actual name for that. This is the triad. So if you double click into the TCP of the robot, then this triad will pop up. Now if you grab it by the bar, it will use in the robot's main coordinate system, right? The major coordinate system, which would be your X, Y, and Z. So then Z, you can move up and down. Now, in the minor coordinate system, you have your yaw, pitch, and roll. So if you grab your Y, you notice how there's a circle right there in the icon of the mouse. And notice how the robot tool is actually rotating around. So you're rotating about that TCP point in the Y minor position. Same thing with X. You can see right here we can grab. Now, like, a lot of these moves are actually a little bit easier inside of RoboGuide, or like if you just want to get close to where you're trying to get to, you know, you can just drag it here, you know, maybe drag it, grab it and drag it in the positive Y, and then we can drag it in the negative X, and then boom, we're back at that position that we was trying to teach a second ago. So it can become a little bit faster than trying to jog the robot around with the teach pendant. But in the real world, obviously this is all you have. Go back into our call pick program. Okay. And we're gonna go ahead and do a shift forward. Be sure you wanna move from where we're at. Yes, we're gonna go ahead and go. So we just confirmed that we're allowing the robot to start in a place in the code where it wasn't at originally. So reset, shift forward. There we go. All right, so now we can actually forward through the program. A second ago, we was getting some flange speed issues because we were trying to come from we're trying to travel in too short of a distance and have too much flange motion. So here you go. Boom. 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 So I'm gonna kind of explain a couple things to you. This is basically gonna start us back at the top of the program. So where you're at your out position, and then we're gonna move into what is known as our approach position. So this is your approach position, which means it's your position right before you start to go directly into your final pick position, which is your line number 4. It's this find move right here. Now this gives a perfect opportunity to explain the difference between joint and linear moves. So a joint move is a move that the robot is essentially trying to get from point A to point B in the quickest amount of time, and it doesn't care as much about what its actual joints do to get to those particular points. Now we're gonna go ahead and switch this to a linear position. Go linear. Notice that it also changes it from a percentage to millimeters per second. We're gonna do the same thing with this move down here, and then also with this one as well. So what a linear move is the robot's gonna move along the TCP in the most fine-tuned, accurate path that it potentially can. And it will orient its joints in whatever way it needs to in order to keep that path as straight as possible. So let's go ahead and start back at the top of this program, and I'm gonna zoom into the robot a little bit more. Shift forward. Sure you want to start there. Yes. Forward. Now you have to do that in the real world robot as well, just so you know. It's a confirmation. So notice it just took a curve right there to get to where it's at now, because that's a joint move. Now let's go ahead and forward through. Notice how straight that move is. I'm gonna try to slow this down even more actually. So I'm gonna go back up here, I'm gonna forward, I'm gonna go right back to that joint move. Forward. Now notice it's coming off that path. It's curving around right here. So that is the characteristics of a joint move. Now it's moving to that point as fast as possible. Even though we're only running at 1%, if you use that running at 100% speed, it'll actually create an even bigger arch whenever it goes from point A to point B. And that's something you do have to keep in mind when you're using continuous moves and joint moves, is that the arch can grow the faster you're moving. It can also shrink as well the slower you are moving. So now we're going to go back to the linear position, and you'll see how it travels in a very straight path. It's very straight right here. And then I'm going to run the joint. I'm going to run back and forth between the joint again. Joint, forward, yes, forward. And you'll see this curved path again. Notice it's off of that line. And then we're going to run it again, and with the linear path, you can see it's just very straight and precisely on that line. Now we're going to forward through the program again, also a linear move. Notice it's just staying right on that line right there. Right on that line. Go ahead and forward through again. Notice it stayed straight on that line again. And let's forward back. Now it's going to curve because this is a joint move. Now I'm actually going to come through here and change all these to joint real quick, just so you can quickly see how these joint moves act differently, or how the robot acts differently with the joint move versus a linear move. Just a FYI guys, I'm trying to race battery life. Not trying to make this a double video. Alright, here we go. Boom. Yes. Yes. Just kind of zoom in a little bit again. Forward. Notice, see how it's curved off and it's not a straight path as it was before? You'll notice all of these will have a lot of curve in them. Boom. We're at that point. We're still in step mode, so I gotta forward again. This move is staying very linear. You actually can't tell that it's running a joint move versus the move that it was running. Forward. I'm gonna try something function 1 abort all. Shift forward, forward. Run this one more time. I did a function 1 abort all just to make sure that it wiped the data from the background. Joint move, so that's definitely like that. Yeah, it did wipe it because the first move would have been linear if it wasn't old data. There's some things on some of the older versions of the Fanic robot where it like holds on to data in the background and you have to either jog to another position first, or else it'll keep trying to jog to like the same position even if you modify the position. It's like stores it in like a temporary memory that it keeps utilizing. Okay guys, hopefully this showed you how to manipulate some positions and how to use some different position types. I want to show you guys one last thing before we get off of here today, and that is really just this continuous move. And I'm not going to do much showing, I'm just going to explain. So if it's a continuous move 100, you're going to get the most curvature and the robot's going to slow down the least amount. So it can actually skip past positions. So how we have this position here in the corner, I'm going to move the robot out the way, shift forward, you sure? Yes, forward. How we have this point right here, well, with a continuous motion and running at 100% speed, it will actually skip past that motion. So it'll go from this point to this point and skip this one with only a slight curvature going towards that. Now, the lower your continuous number, the more fine-tuned it will land in this position. I'm not sure if this is still the case, but definitely on the older robots, a continuous 0 was actually finer than a fine. I'm not sure exactly why that is, but that's just how it was, and I think it still is. So just know that anytime you modify a continuous move, that you're going to change that curvature. And the whole purpose of that is to increase the speed of your robot. So if you have a continuous of 100, your robot's going to operate at the fastest potential speed it can. If you put it as a continuous 0 or a lower continuous value, it's going to get you more closely fine-tuned to the position that you're wanting to actually reach. You're basically telling it how closely does it need to reach that position, or how much can it continue through the path without there being an issue. Hopefully this video did a good job at showing you how to utilize different positions and how to modify different things within a position to have the Fanuc robot do what you want it to do. Thank you, and hit that subscribe button if you want to see more video content like this.